You know, it's really wonderful to be here today. It is such a pleasure and honor to celebrate and have a rally for Second Amendment rights. So thanks so much for inviting me. And a big thank you to the Iowa Firearms Coalition and President Jeff Burkett for including me on the speaker's dais today. Clearly, if you want to talk guns, Matt Winchell can talk circles around me. I'm a nurse practitioner by profession, but I'm a great advocate for Second Amendment's rights. I want to also thank Chris Rager and the NRA for sponsoring this bill. You know, Jeff and Chris and their colleagues do a fabulous job for you at the Capitol. And I remember the first time we kind of talked, Jeff and Michael Ware and some of your folks were there, and they said, you know, we're not professional at this, we're Iowans, and we just want you to understand our issue. Well, you know what, that spoke to my heart. That was something that was really important to me, that we are listening to people of Iowa, and that's exactly what we came there to do, and what we want to do. So it's just been a great pleasure. I drive back to north central Iowa, back to Clear Lake, every Thursday evening after we finish work at the Capitol. And you can ask Michael and Jeff, but I was on the phone to one or both of them almost every Thursday night as I drove home, and we'd have long conversations that helped me through that 2-hour drive, but also gave us a lot of opportunity to sort of strategize and decide how we wanted to move forward with the bills that you all were bringing to us and asking us to support and get out of the House. I also want to thank the Brownell family, first of all, for having such a great gun range and opening it up to so many people. You know, the Brownells are truly a treasure to the state of Iowa. They are wonderful, wonderful people. You know, as a majority leader, I get a great opportunity to travel around the state and work with candidates and meet with businesses and drum up support for some of the issues we have, and for fundraising for our members so we can run these great candidates around the state. And one of my very favorite stops to make is when I get a chance to talk to Pete and Frank. And I always like to get them together because they are so fun to talk to, but they are just your staunchest supporters and fabulous, fabulous people. And so I always look forward to going to Montezuma. You know, as a lot of people talked about, during the past legislative session, we worked really hard in the Iowa House to pass legislation that does strengthen Iowans' Second Amendment rights. I was really proud to bring up the legislation that would solidify the constitutional rights of Iowa gun owners. You have great support in the Iowa House, and you have no better spokesperson than Lance, of course, but every day, Matt Winchell is the face of guns, and he's the guy that we go to every time and say, Matt, we need this done. As an assistant leader, when I'm ready to bring up one of the gun bills, I say, Matt, is the bill ready? Is the bill ready to go? Do we have any amendments we need? And never once has he let me down. He's always ready with the bills, ready to go, and we can carry on with what we want to do. Well, we thought we could carry on. But the first piece of legislation we passed it was House Joint Resolution 2009. And that was a constitutional amendment that would give Iowans the right to actually vote on including the Second Amendment in Iowa's Constitution. Do you realize that, and I'm sure you do, I'm speaking to the choir here, but Iowa is one of only 6 states in the nation that doesn't include the Second Amendment in their state constitution. Iowans deserve better, and you deserve better. So that was a bill we were going to do. The second piece of legislation was House File 2215, most commonly known as Stand Your Ground Bill. This would have given Iowans the ability to protect themselves when they were threatened. We don't believe any Iowan should be unable to protect themselves when they're threatened and then run the risk of being called into court for that action. So as several of the people that have talked ahead of me talked about, we made a decision. We were bringing those bills up. We set the date. We put it on the calendar. By Iowa House rules, they had to sit on the calendar for 3 days. It sat on the calendar for 3 days. The Democrats in the minority caucus had an opportunity to see it and to prepare any amendments they wish to file on those bills. That's their responsibility. But instead, the morning we were going to run the bill, we went to caucus. I was called out of caucus, and Minority Leader McCarthy wanted to know if we were going to run those bills today. And I said, well, that's what we're caucusing on. We do intend to run those bills today. And he was angry, and he went back to his caucus, I went back to mine, and within a few minutes, we were told that the House Democrats were leaving the building.
Lock the door.
I can tell you, I was shocked and appalled by this behavior. I know that Iowans do not expect their legislators to flee the building when there's hard work to be done and when they don't agree on an issue. They expect them to stay there and work. I think if any of you threw that kind of temper tantrum at work, what would happen is you'd be fired. So on November 6th, you do have that choice. You are the boss of the legislature, and you get to make that choice. Despite that little antic, that little show that the House Democrats performed that day, we waited. They came back in time for the 6 o'clock news, you might know, by the time they came back into the building. But they came back, and Lance gave that speech, and Representative Winchell ran his bill. Both of them passed the House that night and were sent to the Senate. And we were very proud to do so. Then what happened? They sat in the Senate. In the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, they held up your bills and said, no, we're not going to give Iowans the right to vote. We're not going to protect Iowans against any threats. We're going to let them sit in the Senate. And we need to change that on November 6th as well. So as you can see, we have big elections coming up in November. Our work is not done. Your work is not done. We need every one of you to get involved in this year's election and help whatever candidate is going to support the issues you care about most. Make sure that those people get elected and make sure that they come to Des Moines ready to take these bills up again, because we will. There is never a shortage of ways you can be involved. I always give the little speech that everybody has something. Everybody has time, talent, or treasure. And if you're the one with the time to help hit doors, to help lit drop, then do that. If you're the one that has a talent to design some creative and innovative ways for them to reach out to new people, do that. And if you have the treasure that you can help them buy a few more yard signs, get a few more pieces of literature in the mail, then by all means do that. But everybody has a way that they can help somebody that is going to support your principles. You've got a great day ahead of you here. I know there's lots of guns to be shot, and I plan to have Representative Winchell take me around and do some of that today in this magnificent range. So I just want to thank you for being here today. Thank you for all of your support, and God bless America, and God bless all of you. Thank you.